Today I'm going to show you how to make these two beautiful cards with this butterfly die from Lifescraftart. I'm so thankful that they sent me this to try out, and I have cut out so many different butterflies. We're going to be making these two cards today, and then also be sure and look for this code above that's going to get you a discount if you're interested in this die and the many others that they have. So be sure and check them out, and I'll have that in the link in the description below. So let's get started making these cards. The first card that I want to show you with this beautiful butterfly die cut is this black butterfly that I've cut out. And we're going to use it on a card here. I'm going to also insert for you the inspiration that I got for these butterflies. It's a painting that's on a building local to me. And I wanted to I guess that was on my mind when I saw these butterflies. And so I cut this out of black cardstock with my cutting machine. And then I have this paper here. It is a Stampin' Up! Set called Full of Life 6x6. And I just remembered it has the bright colors with it and everything, wanting to go with more like a rainbow theme. And then I'm using this yellow as my card base. Now, here's one of the biggest things I'm having to decide. I originally foresaw using it in this manner with the colors going across horizontally. But when I looked at the picture of the painting, when I reminded myself, it was almost like inside the butterfly wings, the colors went vertically. But then I would have to choose which color to use. So I think I'm going to go back and use the horizontal display of the colors. I really just like that. So I'm going to go with that. Now my card base is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm opening it that way. So I'm going to trim this paper. It was originally a 6x6, and I'm going to trim it to 4 by 5 1/4. Using this die, it was so easy to run this through my cutting machine. Now there's a lot of little individual pieces, and I'm going to show in an upcoming video some of the techniques I use to get those pieces. But one of my biggest helpful things is having a little pick tool, and so I will run the pick through anything that doesn't come out when I do my cutting. But the more times I have used this, the easier it is as well. So now let's put everything together, and we're going to go first with our paper. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of adhesive to the back. Isn't this a really neat design on the back? This is double-sided paper. But I love this view of this rainbow scene here. Now, to attach our butterfly, and I think I want it to go something like this. And I've already cut out a sentiment, and I wanted to look to see which version I want to use. Wishing you the brightest birthday. I thought that went well with this paper. So I've used a die cut on this, and I could like pop it up right here in the corner. Or I also have, I could still pop it up, use that version. I think I'm going to like it down in the corner. We can kind of, this goes, it can go straight. That's another thing with this. You could do straight up and see the arc, or I'm going to kind of start at an arc and extend it. I think I'm going to go with the one that I freehand cut it out. I'm going to save this for another project. Now to attach the butterfly. If I want to attach it flat all the way, I'm probably either going to run it through my adhesive machine or just attach a little bit of glue. But I kind of like when some of the pieces are not all attached to the paper, and so it almost looks like the butterfly's moving. So I think I'm going to use, in addition to some glue, I'll probably use, I think, some little glue dots and attach them on the center of each of these butterflies. So let's get these little glue dots here, and I'm going to use my pick tool to kind of get those and just put that right in the center. And if there's any other spots that I think I need to put this adhesive, I will do that. I like to do it right this way sometime because like this is a tiny spot, and I almost like it when it's kind of crinkled up, and that's just going to kind of let it, again, not be flat to the paper. So now let's attach our little butterflies, this trail of butterflies up our card across the beautiful colors. And isn't the detail just wonderful on this? I love that, and how using this black, it just stands out so well. Now let's pop up our sentiment with some little pop dots here. And this is going to make a nice, quick, and easy card, but it's so pretty. And there's so many different other ways that you can use this butterfly die cut and the image that you get. I'm going to share some other things with that. But look at this card. Isn't that lovely? It just screams summer, spring, just a nice day. So I love using this die cut for that. It was really quick and easy to pull together. Let me show you the second card now. There were so many different options that I could use with this die cut when I started cutting it out. And so one of the things that I saw using it with is some gold foil or any kind of shiny foil paper. I think it would be so great. But I was kind of going with a more classic look. What I wanted to do is take a piece of vellum and just a white piece of cardstock to use as my card. And what I'm going to do is we're going to put the vellum on and then also use our butterfly. Now it's going to be a very similar look to the previous card in terms of the placement, because I'm going to lay it across the vellum, and then I have this collecting sweet thoughts of you that I'm going to attach on here as well. So again, I think I'm going to attach the butterflies in the same manner. I like that look. This card, I think, with the gold and the vellum, the white vellum, gives it almost a kind of a sophisticated look. It reminds me even of a wedding invitation. I guess it's with the vellum. So we're going to place this down and give it an arc here. I like these butterfly wings coming up. And then I think I'm also going to use the pop dots with the sentiment as well on this. I used some embossing powder on the sentiment, the gold embossing powder, to match the gold foil. Now let's see about adding our vellum to the white. And I've cut this vellum sheet just a little bit smaller than the card front so we can see around the edging here. You can see it a little better there. I want to be careful. I'm going to use my adhesive, but I think I'm going to place the adhesive in the spots that our die cut and sentiment can cover up that, so that we don't see the adhesive through the vellum. And that still gives it a nice hold on the card, but it gives it just a little extra something. But we have that hold there. Now I also want to add, I have a couple of, let's see, these are iridescent foil gems. And I thought these would be pretty on here. I have the different sizes. They're clear and they have a little bit of gold in there. And let's see where we can place these. I think there's two different sizes. Maybe place one right there. And I'm going to add a little bit smaller one. Kind of right there. And then let's add one up top. I think I'm going to go with the smaller one as well. There we go. So I love the gold of this. I think it makes it so elegant. The butterflies are just so pretty. I hope you've enjoyed watching me make these 2 cards today with this beautiful butterfly die from Lifescraftart. Again, I'm going to put the link below where you can get a discount if you're interested in this die or any of the others that they have on their website. So these are the 2 cards that I'm sharing with you today. I also wanted to share with you, I couldn't stop making these. Look at this butterfly. Now let me hold it up with this black in the background, but I thought this was so lovely. I love using glitter paper, and this is an option for a card. We can make another card similar to this. Slimline cards, think on the edge of your journals. Would this not be beautiful on a page, a bookmark? There's so many different ideas, and believe me, I'm going to be making those. The other item that I used is, I had used the vellum paper on my second card, but what about using vellum to cut the butterflies out? Isn't that beautiful and just so delicate? I don't know if the camera can even pick up as well. It almost looks like a stenciled stamped or painted image, but it's vellum and it's so beautiful. So those are just some other ideas of some ways you can use this. I hope you've enjoyed watching me make these cards today. They are great little cards that I will be using for my friends. So join me again for another video on how to make beautiful cards and other paper crafting ideas.